Hi guys, welcome to my video. Today we're gonna be talking about my freaking acne journey. It's been 9 years and it sucks. I'm gonna talk about everything I've used, everything I've done, everything that's worked, everything that hasn't worked, everything I've eaten and tried, and diets and blah blah blah, tips and tricks and all of it. I'm gonna be showing pictures of every stage that I talk about, but just a warning, I was so depressed during each stage that I don't know if I have pictures from each one. I'm gonna dig and hopefully I find some. I'm 22 right now and I still get breakouts. I had my first breakout when I was 13. It was right here in the center of my forehead. One of my friends had acne, so I thought there was something like terribly wrong with me when this happened. I did what any normal kid would do and look online, and the first thing that popped up was Proactive. I think a celebrity was in a bunch of commercials for Proactive during this time. I think it was Zendaya or something. I was like, oh my god, celebrities use this, like it must be good. I told my mom, I was like, Mom, I'm breaking out, can you get me some Proactive? And she was like, sure. I got my pause on Proactive, and let me tell you, that was probably my downfall of my skin. That probably caused it, if I'm being quite honest. I remember they sent me like a couple products, and one of the products was an actual like scrub. I didn't know any better, so I was like, oh, maybe I just like scrub it and then my acne goes away. No. So that made my skin a million times worse. I was even more upset, as a kid is, and I was like, Mommy, can you take me to the dermatologist? And she was like, yes, of course. So we went to the dermatologist and I was prescribed clindamycin, which is an antibiotic, and dapsone. I grew up in a very granola household. It was always get to the root cause before you take medication, but for acne specifically, I tried my best to do other things before I took medication, but sometimes I would just take medication for the time being until I figured out what was going on or what cleared me up. I took this antibiotic and it did clear up my skin. It took a couple months, and I used dapsone as well, just a topical gel. My mom was like, you should not be on antibiotics for super long. It should not be a permanent thing, and I agreed with her. My body has never responded well to antibiotics, which you will find out later in the video how it responds. I don't know why I started getting acne in the first place. I'm sure it was like stress or just hormones, because I was hitting puberty. My acne cleared up. My freshman year, of course, it came back. Again, it was really in my T-zone. It would always start as like super tiny bumps, and then they would come to the surface like a couple months later and be super red and inflamed. And that's how my acne has always been. It's always been like little bumps, and then later it just like blows up. Then I got my second breakout phase, and again, I don't really remember everything that I did for that one specifically. I did a topical again. I think I did dapsone. I'm not really sure. But to be honest, I just kind of waited it out until it cleared up. It eventually did, but again, my skin was never like where I wanted it to be. My sophomore year of high school, it came back. It was always a trend of my acne clearing in the summer, and then it shows up in August around the time that school starts, and then it gets like progressively worse. I think for me personally, that's always been a thing. Even this year it happened. I'm sure it's the academic stress and just the stark difference of like having nothing in the summer and then like so much on your plate during the school year. I just really did not have good stress management techniques, so I think that honestly just like showed up on my skin. It was definitely internal. I've always thought acne was internal, but I think there are things that you just can't control sometimes. You know, there's nothing wrong with using topicals in the meantime, just to like calm your skin and really figure out what's going on internally. But like I said, my sophomore year, really small bumps again that popped up in my T-zone, and it was really bad this time. Like, it was so red and inflamed and it hurt so bad. Every time I've had acne, it just hurts. Throughout each of these phases, I also tried so many things that I read on the internet, which don't do. I went through huge spirals and holes of just like researching and researching and researching, and I'm pretty sure it made my skin barrier worse of what I was using. I went down a hole of natural and organic skincare, but unfortunately for me, I have acne prone skin, obviously, and there's a bunch of pore clogging oils in natural and organic skincare. When it's marked as like natural and organic, I was like, oh, it's good for my skin. But that's not always the case, and I had no idea what I was doing. I had gone back to the dermatologist after this, and I was like, hi, can you help me? And he prescribed me spironolactone. It was around the winter time where I went to the dermatologist and I got spironolactone, and it took about 3 to 4 months to work, but this medication cleared me up so much. I did not have a breakout for months. The entire second semester, like nothing. I stopped taking it right when summer hit, and I just remember like this year, like the sophomore year that I'm talking about specifically, I remember it was homecoming in November and my mom was helping me put makeup on, and I was literally like crying it off because I was so sad. I looked at her and I was like, I feel so ugly. It was just such a low point for me, and I had never been able to truly like feel freedom with my skin and not always stress about it and worry about it. It's just mental drainage and torture, and the up and down was like killing me. My mom, like I feel so bad for her because I always just kind of like, I didn't let it out on her, but she was someone that I can open up about it with, and a lot of people would tell me like, oh, it's not as bad as you think. We're just trying to help, but at the end of the day, like I've always just taken it like times 10. I've never been able to go out in public with like a huge breakout and no makeup. Like I've always tried to cover it up, or if it's so bad I just don't see people. I would love to be the person to be like, don't worry about it, it's fine, no one's looking at it. But when it's you, it's so different. Thankfully spironolactone cleared me up. The summer hit, of course, I had like pretty clear skin in the summer. Really didn't have that many skin issues my junior year. This was when COVID hit. We were wearing masks too, so anything that I did have, I was able to kind of cover it up, which was actually really nice. My junior year was pretty steady. Flash forward to the next summer, going into my senior year. In August, I had gotten my wisdom teeth out and I had to take antibiotics right after I got it out. This was one of my worst breakouts ever. It was the most painful breakout I've ever experienced. So I took the antibiotics in August, and probably like in September, October, it was super quick. It just blew up. I can't really tell you why. I think it maybe had something to do with my gut health. Antibiotics just kill the good bacteria too. It's all in my T-zone, but it was like double the size of what it normally was. It was so cystic, it was so deep, it hurt so bad. This was probably one of like the lowest times in my life. I would skip school, I did not see friends. I was literally in like the worst mental state you could possibly be in. I just never met anyone else with this problem. That made me feel like I was the only one dealing with it. I just like felt so alone in this whole process. I felt like it was never gonna go away. I would be in this doom spiral of like depression. Just not talked about that acne is literally like debilitating. I woke up and I would think about it until I went to bed. I would micromanage everything I was putting into my body. I would be looking up on the internet like, is gluten bad for acne? Is dairy bad? Is caffeine bad? Everything. Is sugar bad? It got to the point where it was just too much. Like, I wasn't enjoying any food, and then I would stress out about it if I did eat something bad. A lot of my friends who were eating like gluten and dairy and sugar, they never had problems with their skin. They could like literally stick their face in mud and go to bed and their skin would be like glowing the next day. Obviously, comparison, it makes it 100 times worse, and I did it to myself by thinking this way, but it's just really hard not to when you're surrounded by people with like super clear skin. I made the decision to go on Accutane my senior year of high school. I know there's so much on the internet about Accutane. I personally did it for 8 months. After around month 5 or 6, my acne started to really clear up, and month 8 it was crystal clear. I was on the lowest dose. I was on 40 milligrams. I did have pretty bad vision problems when I was on it. I know that there are some serious side effects to it. I'm not telling you to do it. Do whatever you want, but if you do it, I would just suggest like being super careful and talking to your doctor about it. I personally had a very good experience on Accutane. It cleared my skin up for about a year and a half. I didn't have to think about what I was putting into my body and consuming, putting on my face, and it was just honestly like pure freedom that I had never experienced before. Thankfully, it lasted me through about halfway through my freshman year of college, so I was able to really enjoy college, and for the first time ever I didn't wake up and like run to the mirror to see if my skin was better the next day. The fact that so many people can just like experience that feeling every single day and they don't break out is like mind-boggling to me, and it felt so good. It honestly felt so good. I don't regret going on Accutane, but my acne did come back, so it lasted about a year and a half. My second semester freshman year, I started getting small bumps, but instead of my T-zone, I got them all along like my cheeks and my jawline. I had never experienced acne in that area. I don't know why it completely shifted. I only get breakouts really here and like a little bit on my chin, but never really on my forehead. I have like 2 little bumps, but that's like rare. I don't really break out on my forehead. It's weird. I think Accutane kind of changed like the maybe reasoning for why I break out, or like my pores. I don't really know. I had drinking a lot freshman year. I feel like that's normal, and I just didn't really like care about what I was eating. I'm pretty sure drinking was like one of the main factors of why I broke out again. Accutane really damages your liver, and I just don't think I was detoxing very well. So I got these like small little bumps, and then of course a couple months later they blow up. I was so frustrated when this happened because I had gone from mental torture to like a year and a half of like, oh my god, everything's great, rainbows and butterflies, to like, holy bleep, I have to go through this again. So my second semester freshman year, I really tried to cut out alcohol. It wasn't until the end of the semester where I did see a bit of a difference. When I went into the summer, I kind of naturally cleared it up. I did completely cut out alcohol. To this day, I don't really drink that much. I just don't feel my best on it. I have really tried to get really clear mentally and set myself up well with good habits, and I just have a lot of plans for my future, and I just want a clear mind for that. I don't really like being out of my own headspace. I just personally like don't really drink alcohol anyway anymore. If I do, it'll be like 1 glass of wine, 1 beer. I don't really mess with hard alcohol. Literally the next day I'm a mess. I think that everyone hates me and the world is gonna end. So I just don't drink it. It makes me super anxious and really sad. Surprise, surprise, it came back in August, right when I started school. This was my second worst breakout. It might have been worse than my breakout senior year. I was so uncomfortable in my skin. I was so self-conscious. Like I had no confidence. It was crazy. So again, I got small little bumps around my chin and my cheeks right here. They blew up in September and October. Like it was so red and itchy and irritated. That was the biggest thing, was that it was so itchy, and I was like, what am I doing? Like, what is going on? How can it go from 0 to 100? I was on the phone with my parents. It was in like October around my birthday, and I was like, I am so depressed. Like I can't do this anymore. I think I need to drop out of school. I wasn't going to classes. I wasn't seeing people. I was literally in my bed all day, every day. I would take videos of myself on the floor crying for hours because of my skin. It was just to the point of like, I was not living my life. I was so just sad and consumed by it. I would just want to hide every time I saw people. I literally wore hoodies every day to class because I wanted to cover myself up. Again, like I've never been the one to be able to just go out with acne and like face the world with acne. I just wanted to feel comfortable in my own skin, and I just didn't. When I was on the phone with my parents telling them that I wanted to like drop out of school and literally curl up into a ball and die, my mom had worked at this company where she was seeing patients, and if patients had struggles with their skin, she would send them to this acne specialist of Oakland. They're located in Oakland, California. My mom has always been there for me in every acne stage. She has let me try all the medication. She has done so much research for me, and I could not be more thankful for her. She's always been there for me and super supportive, and just let me rant if I need to rant. She was like, hey, I tell my patients to go to the acne specialist of Oakland. Maybe you should try that instead of a dermatologist. And I was like, you know what? It's my final thing. I've done everything that I can think of. Like, let's do it. So my mom sent me the link. Basically, when you sign up, there's a fee that you pay. It's around, I think, $200 to $300, and you pay that, and then you're able to fill out this questionnaire of everything you're using on your face, whether that's skincare, makeup, anything like that. You fill out what shampoo you're using, what conditioner, any hair product you're using, how many times you wash your pillowcase, how many times you wash your face towels, what detergent you're using. That was huge for me. I guess I was using a very irritating detergent, which is why my face was so itchy. You fill out every product you are using that comes into contact with your skin, and then you also fill out what medications you've tried before, what medications you're currently on, what is your diet life, what is your stress level like. You fill out this questionnaire, and then you take pictures of your acne. You send it in to acne specialists of Oakland. Because they're located in California, I couldn't go in there, so they're able to take patients anywhere. So I sent my pictures in, and then a couple days later, they reply back to your questionnaire and they tell you everything that could be irritating your skin or has pore clogging ingredients in it. And literally everything I was using had pore clogging ingredients in it. I had just switched all of my hair care and my skincare right before school started because I was going through recruitment, and I was like, okay, I want like fun makeup and just like a fresh start. I have kind of wavy-ish hair. A lot of curly hair products have coconut oil or shea butter in it, but unfortunately these products are not great for acne prone girlies. They're great products in general, but just not for my acne girls. They told me what products I needed to get rid of, and then they send me a skincare line, basically a regimen that they curate based on the photos you take and what medications have worked in the past for you. This is what the flat fee pays for, is their skincare, and they send it all over. Once you run out, then you have to like pay and get new ones. Flat fee pays for the skincare, which I think is a really good deal because you get like 8 products for like a couple $100. I know it's a lot, but nowadays like skincare is so expensive, so it's just nice to have it curated for you and you don't have to go search and look yourself. Because of the fee, they give you access to a bunch of documents that tell you what makeup is acne safe, what shampoo is acne safe, what conditioner, what detergent is acne safe, so many things. Within 24 hours, I switched all of my products. I got new makeup, which I will show in the video later. They sent me their skincare line, which I will also show. I got new detergent, which was a lifesaver because I had no idea. I didn't even think about this, but when you're sleeping, your face is on the pillowcase, and if there's irritating products, it's gonna break you out. I had no idea. Even with hair care, I would be breaking out like all around here, and it makes sense because I feel like, you know, my hair gets on the side of my face and just like around my hairline and stuff. A bunch of products piled up that just made my skin even worse. Added stress, my skin is always worse, so if I were using all these products in the summer, I'm sure I would break out, but not as bad as I did during the school year. So it's always just been a combination of things for me. I was just like, I want it gone. Like, I don't want to have to deal with it. I got my products. They ship them in like literally 3 days. They're super fast. Within 2 weeks of completely switching over everything, my skin cleared up. I didn't have one breakout. I went from like having an entire face full of acne to nothing in 2 weeks, which has never happened for me ever. It's always taken like 3 months, 4 months to work. It was seriously like a miracle. I had never experienced something like that, and I always thought that you have to fix it internally, which is true. So I never really paid attention to what I was putting on my face. But I think that because I had a weak skin barrier with what was going on inside of me internally, then that made everything I was putting on my face even worse. I'm so happy that my mom showed me this company. I love them so much. I'm 22 right now. I'm a senior in college and I've used these products for 2 years now. They have saved my skin, and I noticed that when I do not stick to my skincare routine, I break out. So I just am pretty strict about it. Over the summer, I'll lean off of the harsher products just to give my skin a little bit of a break, because I know I'm not too bad in the summer. But during really stressful times, I know that I have to really stay on my skincare. No, that's not for everyone. I'm gonna show my skincare routine, and there are some chemical exfoliants, and I use benzoyl peroxide, and I know that's not everyone's cup of tea, but for now it's working and I couldn't be happier. My happiness will always be my priority. I also still don't drink at all. I'll have a drink maybe like once a month if I'm feeling up to it, but I've just never been good on alcohol. I've never detoxed it well. My body, she does not like it, and that's okay. I do a couple other things like stress manage. I've been really into Pilates and yoga this year. I'm kind of attacking my acne from different angles, from the inside and the outside. I try and journal in the morning. I really am organized with my schedule now. Before, I would get so bogged down by just like school and what's going on and all the stresses of it and due dates and stuff, and I think that if I had just stress managed a little bit better and really paid attention to focusing on things day by day and really just getting mentally strong, then I think my acne could have been a little bit better. I also drink a lot of tea. Tea has been a lifesaver for my skin. I drink spearmint tea, which Acne Specialists of Oakland, they do recommend drinking 2 cups a day. It naturally lowers androgens, so you don't produce as much oil. I also drink a detoxing tea. It's a liver detoxing tea. I think Accutane just really damaged my liver, because that's what it does. Like, you're not supposed to drink on Accutane because it destroys your liver. So I think that I just have to basically build it back up again. As far as food goes, I have always been pretty healthy, but I don't really restrict because I just think that nothing good comes from restriction. Now I'm going to show you all of my products, all my teas I use. The first thing that I'm going to show you is my skincare routine. This is the Acne Specialists of Oakland. It's their own skincare line. I only use their skincare. I trust them so much. I've tried so many products in my life. They have always just been amazing. When you have something curated for you by a professional, it's so much better. This is the first thing. It's the Pink Clay Cleanser. A lot of cleansers for me have always stripped my skin and made me feel like my skin was like tight after I use it. I owe my life to this cleanser. It is so good. It makes my skin not super dry, but I feel like I get all my makeup and all the dirt off from the day. The next thing I use is their serums. One of them is the hyaluronic acid B3 and zinc serum. This serum is so yummy for my face. Like, it feels so good when I put it on. Zinc is really good for inflammation, and then the hyaluronic acid lowers oil production, and I feel like it also helps my acne scars as well. I put it on every morning and every night. I do 2 pumps of this. And then the next thing I use, this I alternate with my benzoyl peroxide. I don't use any chemical exfoliants or benzoyl peroxide during the day, but at night I'll do this. It's the mandelic acid. It's 8%. I'll do that one night, and then I'll switch it to benzoyl peroxide the next night. This is just a chemical exfoliant. It's so good. It really calms my skin down and helps oil production, and it's just amazing. I love it. I will do my lilac stem cell moisturizer. I love this moisturizer. In the winter, sometimes my skin is extra dry, so I'll use their Manuka honey moisturizer. I've always, again, struggled with moisturizers. I haven't found a good one that really gets in there and really moisturizes. I was never a sunscreen girl. I didn't really care about sunscreen. I was like, oh, whatever. Because I have acne prone skin, my skin barrier, it just means that it's not the best. So this protects my skin barrier so much, especially with benzoyl peroxide. You have to use sunscreen because your skin is like super sensitive to sun. So I use this every morning. It is the best primer for my makeup that I've ever used. It is so dewy and not greasy at all, and it just like makes my skin really glowy. At night for my makeup remover, a lot of makeup removers are just boaty. They strip your skin, bad ingredients, really bad fragrance, like alcohol in it, just not great things for your skin. So this is recommended by the acne specialist. It's the Bioderma water. So I just take little cotton rounds. I'll use these, or if I have reusable cotton rounds, I will use them, but you have to wash them. You cannot double use them. So I'll buy like a bunch and then I'll just put it in the washer whenever I need to. And that's it for my skincare. Next, I'm gonna go over some makeup. I've always been like a tinted SPF girl. So I use the Rare Beauty, you can't really see it, but, oh, there we go. The Positive Light Tinted Moisturizer. It has an SPF of 20. I use this almost every day. It's just a really good base for all my makeup, and it's so light. And if I'm going to like an event or something, or I'm going out, I'll just do 2 layers of this and do a little bit extra coverage. But for the most part, I don't really use any foundation. I just don't really like foundation. I don't like how thick it is, and I want my skin to be able to breathe a little bit. This tinted moisturizer, so good. Next, I use the Liquid Touch concealer. This concealer is, again, so amazing. You cannot see it, it's not focusing, but this concealer is so good. I know the NARS concealer gets a bunch of hype, but this is like basically the same thing, even better. It feels so good on the skin. Again, it doesn't break me out, and just great price point. All of this is like $20-$30 per makeup item, which is like pretty good for what's on the market right now. I just got a new shade for the blush, but I used to use this in the summer. It's the Happy shade. It's just their like liquid blush. It's the dewy kind. They have a matte and a dewy, and I always like the dewy one. But I just switched over to this one. It's a little bit more muted for the winter. This is in the shade Worth. I've had this since sophomore year. It lasts like literally 2 years, even more. I can still get use out of this. That's why I'm saying their price point is so good, because I didn't have to repurchase this ever. Like, this has been with me since my terrible breakout sophomore year. I don't really wear bronzer every day, especially in the winter, just because like I like the pale kind of look in the winter. If I do use bronzer, it's the loose powder from Bare Minerals. It's in the shade Faux Tan. It is so good. I like the shade of this tan because a lot of bronzer to me is like super orange. It's kind of a mix of contour and bronzer. Biggest thing about makeup for me is I do not use beauty blenders, and I will use a brush for only this, and I will wash that brush like 3 times a week. The biggest thing for makeup has been not, first of all, directly applying it on my skin because it builds up bacteria. Beauty blenders and sponges have so much bacteria in them. Every time I apply my makeup, I put it on the back of my hand, even my blush. I'll put it on the back of my hand, and then I just use my fingers. I just get really clean hands, and I put all my makeup on the back of my hands, and I will just blot it like with my fingers. And I think the warmth from my fingers just like really works well with my skin too, making that transition from brushes to your hands. So much less bacteria build up. For mascara, it doesn't really matter. I use the Dior one. I did not buy this. This was gifted to me, but it doesn't really matter what mascara you use because obviously it's not going on your face. And for my eyebrows, I don't use a pencil because I dye my eyebrows, because high maintenance for low maintenance, if you know what I'm saying. That's what I use for my skincare. Again, back of the hand, back of the hand, back of the hand. Do it on the back of the hand. Do not get that crusty beauty blender out. Throw her away. Throw her away. For hair care, I'm a simple girl because I'm scared of trying things. For shampoo conditioner, right now I'm using the Vino apple cider vinegar shampoo and conditioner. If I'm not using this, I'll use the Native cucumber and mint one, but not all Native products are acne safe. So again, I just look at the list to see which ones are acne safe. On the Acne Specialist of Oakland, they have like a pore clogging checker where you can like put in the ingredients and it'll tell you if it's safe, which is like so amazing if I'm on the go and I just have to look up a product really quick. Instead of buying a leave-in conditioner, buying like another item, the formula for conditioner and leave-in conditioner, it's basically the same thing. So I literally take a dollop of conditioner on my hands and I'll just run that through my hair, and that's my leave-in conditioner. My hair has done pretty well with it. Like, I've never had a breakout from that, and I just think that why buy a billion products when you just need like one or two? And then my last thing is my teas. I have my own tea box, which I love her so much. Spearmint tea that I drink. I try and do 2 cups a day. I don't like the taste of this, so sometimes I'll mix it with just ginger tea. If you don't like the taste of ginger, you can do any tea that you want. Another one I like is the ginger and turmeric one, just good for digestion. This is my favorite liver detox. Liver supplements or herbs are really bitter because bitters are really good for your liver. Sometimes I find the tea to be too bitter, so I like this one because it's lemon flavored, so it just cuts the bitterness a little bit. If I'm feeling like sick or stressed, I'll do like a good stress tea. It doesn't matter which one you get. I get the elderberry and lemon one. I've never been a tea girl until recently, just because it has been like so good for my skin, and I got on the wave about a year ago, but acne specialist told me about spearmint tea like 2 years ago. This is all my tea. There's just tea for everything. Like, it's amazing, and it's not talked about enough. I also don't drink coffee on an empty stomach. Coffee on an empty stomach is like a cortisol spike to the max, and cortisol produces more oil. So if you don't want your cortisol to spike, just drink it with food or after food, because then it has something to absorb and not like go straight to your freaking veins and you have like coffee in your veins. That's really all I have to say. In all seriousness, like, if you're struggling with acne, it sucks, and I feel you on so many levels. I think that it's so easy for people to tell you that it's not a big deal or it's not as bad as you think it is, but when you are personally dealing with it, that's like probably the worst thing you can hear, because like, obviously it's not a big deal, but they're not dealing with it, you are. So you're gonna deal with it how you want to deal with it. Like, it doesn't matter what other people say. I don't think that it's just something you have to deal with for the rest of your life. There's so many things you can do for it. All I can say is you have to do what's best for you, and we're getting through it together. I love you, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.